Well, hello, it's Carrie Rhodes here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and a new card making video. Today I get to play with Paper Glaze from Picket. It's part of a collaboration hop with Heffy Doodle and Picket Studios. So I am combining products from two companies to create this gorgeous Shine Bright card. Here is the information for the hop. It's actually on Instagram, so click over, find me at Carrie Rhodes, and hop along with us to win some prizes. Okay, so here's the Paper Glaze. This is like a collection of 3 glazes. They are these beautiful blue colors. So we have the polar ice layers is what they're called. They're labeled A, B, and C. So you've got 3 different products here. They are really fun for like doing stenciling and adding texture to things. They can be used in different ways like watercoloring. So they're pretty cool. You can check out more about these at the Picket Studios shop, and then you can see all the different colors they have as well. So I decided to go ahead and swatch out these 3 colors so I could get a feel for what they look like on paper and when they're dry. This is always a good thing to do, and it's kind of fun. Like if you're not sure, what do I want to do? Swatching them out kind of gets you inspired to play with them too. So here you can see the 3 colors. I've got that really rich, vibrant blue. I've got a more soft like seafoam blue and kind of a silvery pearlized white color. So these are dry. They dry pretty fast, I have to say, and you can build up texture with them, which is really cool, or you can really smooth them out. So I thought they were gorgeous, very shiny, a little hint of iridescence to them, and then it was time to play. So I am bringing out the Heart Masquerade stencil from Heffy Doodle and a piece of craft colored cardstock. There are grid lines or guidelines on the back of this stencil so you can line up easily your A2 size card. Now this is great, especially if you're going to do like different layers or something like that. So I'm putting this in place inside those grid lines, and then I'm taping it in place with my Heffy tape. Then I can trace this. Now in hindsight, I wish I would have done this with a white gel pen. You'll see why later, or with a lighter hand. Erased it at some point. I have a little pencil marks showing at the end, but I had to just kind of let that go. So I'm just using some painter tape to mask off an area that's going to be the ocean for this particular scene. Now I'm creating like an ocean scene inside the shape of this heart. So here I wanted this layer to look like ocean waves. So you'll see I just kind of try to play with the glaze a little bit with my tool to create different kinds of texture in it. So finally I realized some little dashes would give me the look that I wanted, kind of like water. So then once that is done, I'll just peel off the tape and the stencil. No, I think I left the stencil on and let it dry. So yeah, you have to be careful with that because the paste can dry to your stencil and can be hard to get off. So you could maybe even try to wipe some away with a baby wipe. Now with this really light kind of seafoam color, I wanted this to be the sky. So I wanted this to be pretty smooth, and I did not want to overlap it with that blue ocean. Also, I was kind of afraid to put down like a piece of tape to mask off the ocean because I don't know much about this, but I was afraid it would affect the texture of it or peel some away. I just wasn't sure. So I just decided to use the point of my tool here and just be really careful going up against the ocean there. But you could always, even try like a piece of paper to lay down to kind of mask that off. But in the end, I was slow and steady and it worked out fine. Okay, for my third and final layer, this is the kind of pearlized white with a little tint of silver. And I'm using this scraggly brush. And what I'm going to do is collect some of that glaze and then pounce it on so it looks like that kind of the foam of the ocean, the surf where it hits the beach. And you can see the bottom of the heart is showing there, and that's the sand color. Isn't that cool? I'm loving these 3 colors. They're so fun, and you can use them for so many things. They're made kind of collected together to be used for winter, but I love this ocean scene inside the heart. So we're going to let that completely dry and also add some splatter. I still had some of that white on the edge, so I decided to kind of thin it out with some water and then just splatter it right on my card. Because, when the ocean hits the waves, there's, splatter, spray. I don't You know what I'm talking about. So I thought it would be fun to have a little bit of the ocean feel extending outside of the heart on here. Plus, I just love splatter. Like any excuse to do splatter, I'm going to figure out a way to make it happen. Okay, here are my stamps I'm using today. This is the Little Lighthouse, or Lil Lighthouse, L-I-L, Lil Lighthouse. And it has a couple cute sayings in it. So I'm going to do a saying and the lighthouse from there. It says, "You light up my world." And then it's time to color. So I have stamped this onto the alcohol-friendly cardstock from Heffy Doodle. It's a nice lightweight cardstock, which allows for super easy blending, which I totally love. So I'm going to go ahead and blend these out with some R markers, and I'm kind of doing like a striped look, so every other section being red, and just kind of going back and forth with my markers here. So my darkest, my medium, my light, and then sometimes I'll go back and just touch up the darkest layer a little bit. But this cardstock that's alcohol friendly, you can use with any of your alcohol markers. It really makes it easy to blend. So I don't really find the need to go in and like do my lightest color first, go back to my dark, my medium, my light. I just not finding it necessary. This is really good paper to color on. All right, so a little touch of yellow for the light part of my lighthouse finishes that up. Isn't it cute? It's a darling little set and goes with like so many things that you might already have. So it also has a coordinating die, which is super cool because you see that weird die over there to the left of my die machine, the mini die machine from Heffy Doodle. That creates little openings. So if you wanted to make a light up card, the light would shine through those little circle openings on either side of the lighthouse. All right, so now I have my mini paper trimmer. I just love all the mini sized tools that Heffy Doodle has. This is brand new to the lineup, this paper trimmer, and it works so good. So I'm going to just hold this in place with a little bit of temporary adhesive so I can trim down the other side of the sentiment. And there is a little lip there I can put it up against at the top of the paper cutter, which is super handy. All right, so there we have our little strip, and I just need to trim off the ends. But having this paper cutter for like tiny little things is so helpful versus using like my big trimmer. And it's great for travel. Plus, I just keep it right on my desk. I don't have to like move around. I can just grab it and cut up little things. All right, so now it's time to flag the end. I'm going to snip up the middle and then cut from the corner to the top of my snip on both sides. Now, I didn't get this exactly perfect, but that's okay, right? All right, now we have this really fun alphabet we're going to use and the new stamp scrubber from Picket Fence. Well, it's new to me. It's a sponge, but it has a different feel, like a little tiny bit more rubbery than a sponge, but it's soft. It's really soft. So it says it's great to use on your stamps before you ever ink them. So I wetted the sponge, squeezed it out, and just wiped on my stamps that had never been used before. Some of them had, but some of them hadn't. And that just helps your stamps accept the ink more easily when they're brand new. And it did a great job of that. Also, this is supposed to be really great for cleaning ink off your stamps. So I thought, what better stamp or color of ink to try it on than red, right? Yeah, now the red is still going to stain your stamp. It just does. Red ink just does. But this scrubber really worked good at getting the ink off of there. And I think like it's really handy too. So I'm loving that scrubber. All right, now I brought out the coordinating dies. This is the Rascal Alphabetters set. I mean, these names are so adorable. So fun. So I'm going to die cut the word shine, as you can see here. And before I decided to put that down, put everything down on my card, I decided it would be good to trace around this heart, now that it's dry, with a white gel pen and kind of make that stand out a little bit more. It did an okay job of covering it up. I'm loving how the splatter looks. You can still see a little bit of the pencil. Why didn't I erase it first? I don't know. I don't know. I could have, I should have, but yeah, it is what it is, right? So the saying goes. Now it's time to add all those things in. So I have my sentiment and my lighthouse popped up with some foam strips, and I was kind of just deciding where should this sentiment go, and then laying that in place. The reason why I put glue on top of my foam strips is because I was putting it down over paper, and part of the paper is textured with that paper glaze. So we'll add this whole thing to a white card base. because it's actually not the card base, it's just a piece of cardstock because my paper was a tiny bit warped in the middle where I had done that glaze. So I wanted to make sure it laid flat before I stuck it to my card base. All right, so now I am adding on my letters. As you can see, I also die cut the word bright, and then my card will say shine bright with the letters. I love adding sentiments with my alphabet dies and stamps. They're just, it's fun to personalize a card, and it really, I think, added to this card to have a second sentiment. And this would be a great light up card too. It really would. All right, so now I'm adding white gel pen highlights. I sometimes like to do this when the card is all done so I don't end up smearing it. I wanted a few more hearts on this card, so I brought out this tiny little heart from the mini mail Slimline die set and die cut them from some red glitter cardstock, and it really was like that little touch of something special for this card. Now we'll add it to the A2 size card base. So it's a piece of paper that's 4 1/4 inches by 11 inches, and I scored it at 5.5. That way you've got that nice white border all the way around the edge of the card, and there it is. So I think the paper glaze is so much fun, and like I said, there's a lot of different techniques you can do with this glaze, so be sure to check that out, and the Heffy Doodle products, I'll have it all linked for you below. And jump over to Instagram, you can find me there, Carrie Rhodes, and hop along with us. You'll get all the details on the giveaway there as well. I thank you so much for stopping by. I will see you all again very soon. Happy stamping! Bye!